All right, guys, just a few announcements before we get over to our guest speaker, who I'm so excited for you guys all to hear from. He always gets like a fire under my belly. And I know he'll do that for you guys as well. I see some head shakes. But guys, hopefully you saw in our new and improved group that I am putting together a level up group. It's called the Doers Club, and it's for individuals who achieve Success Club 5 or higher in the month. You have to hit Success Club every single month to stay in the group. And like I said in my live, make sure you go check it out for today. But it's for those of you who really, truly want to take this business to the next level. I know we have people at every different walks of life and what you want to achieve in this business, but if you're on this call right now, especially about to hear from Josh, you want to do some ish with your business, okay? You don't want to just treat it as a hobby. You truly want to take it to that next level. So make sure you check out that live. I won't go too much into it, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It starts in November, probably November 1st, and we're just going to have a lot of level up type stuff going on in there, okay? So that's the first announcement. Second announcement, let's go over how everyone is doing this month. We're going to just do a couple shout outs. So congratulations to Britt on SC10 and me on SC16. I know quite a few of you are also on the on the leaderboard this is from Monday. So a lot has changed since Monday. I've seen you guys in the Ring the Bell group going off and having some people commit this week. So next week we'll be able to do some more shout outs. Our top recruiter, Meg Thomas, and then our rank advancements, we have Kitty, we have Lindsay, and we have Brandy. So congratulations, you guys. I wanted to go through it super quick so we can hand it over to Josh, because I know that he has a lot of content to share with us, a lot of value. But before I do, guys, I met Josh, like 2 years ago. I saw him speak and I was like, oh my gosh, who is this guy that all of these coaches are working with? And they're talking about, like, who is this guy? And I started stalking him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, his personality, the way that he talks, like, that is what I need in my life. And him and I had a chance to work closely together during one of the hardest years of my life. And he helped me see a lot of ish that I was telling myself, a lot of things that I was doing to hold myself back in this business, even 8 years into the business, you guys. I still have those times where I have to get out of my own head. It's one of those things that you ebbs and flows, okay? And Josh was able to shake me and show me some things that I needed to do in order to take my business to the next level. And I know he'll be able to do it with you guys as well. Now, I want to share with you guys, he is a member of the John Maxwell's team. We all know John Maxwell, and he specializes in putting personal development into language that network marketers can understand, which we all need, right? Like, sometimes you read those books and you're like, what did that just say? Josh has a really great way of just bringing it down so that we can all understand it. He's trained thousands in his training groups. He's helped people every single month to focus, motivate, and create sales and their income increase. Josh has one-on-one mentored over 10 top 10 coaches, you guys. So those are like the top of the top of the top in our business, and superstar diamonds, including myself. Josh is the #1 best-selling author of FUCK, I can't say it, leadership, and the host of the Push Coach podcast. If you guys are not listening to his podcast, I tune into it every single time he has a new podcast go up, and I love the content that he's giving, and it's completely free, okay? And you put that out. And then Josh's message will leave you inspired and ready to work towards your dreams. And one of the things that I love that he was talking to me about is he said, they're going to love me, but they're also going to hate me, because when you have this kind of training, you guys, especially with Josh, he's not going to sugarcoat it. And that's what we need, you guys. You need someone to kind of smack you in the face and help you realize how much you're holding yourself back, because that truly is the only thing that's preventing you from moving forward in your business is you. And Josh is not afraid to say that. So Josh, I'm going to hand it right over to you.
Thank you so much, Meg. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for having me on. I have all of the respect in the world for Meg. In fact, I kind of reference her in the book. I talk about how most people come to me either when they're kind of up and coming stars or when they've had some serious success and then have a slump in their business and they need someone to help them kind of like get back into it. And there's this very specific part of my book that's written for people like that, that was inspired from working with Meg and a couple other people that came to me kind of like in that season. And it's one of my favorite things in the world to do, especially now that I've personally been through it. And that was one of the things I remember when I went through my divorce and I watched my business kind of tank because of some of the lessons that I'm going to teach you tonight so that you can avoid letting the same thing happen. I remember texting my buddy, Andrea Crowder. She's one of my best friends. And I was like, well, it looks like I got to go put into practice what I've been preaching to all of these other people how to do. I got to walk through it myself. And I'll just tell you, walking through it yourself sucks. It's way more fun to help other people walk through it than it is to walk through it yourself. But so much respect for Meg. She's such a hard worker. And even though I had some tough pills for her to swallow, she swallowed them, she handled it, and she moved on. And I love it. Like it's hard, but I also love it. Like the hardest part about my business is when someone really amazing says, I'm good. It's the hardest thing in the world, but it's also one of your most proudest moments because you like, that's my job. My job is to come along in the season that you need me. It doesn't mean you need me forever. And that's never anything personal. And Meg got to the point where she's like, you helped me make the climb back up and now I'm good. I was like, okay, well, I hate to lose an awesome client, but that was the goal. Like that's the goal of a coach, is to get you where you want to go. So I'm pumped to hang with all of you guys tonight. If you've never been with me on a call, so good to meet you. I'm so honored and happy to be here. If you've been with me before, well, you're already sweating and you're just ready for this. So let's dive in. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to build the proper house. Okay, for your network marketing business, because here's what everyone wants. Everyone wants the end goal. Like obviously, duh. Like that's why we start, right? Like no one works out. Well, okay. Sometimes I do because I'm a little bit crazy. I grew up playing sports like my whole life. I really do like to get my ass kicked. Like I started P90X long before I knew Beachbody was a thing or Beachbody coaching was a thing, because Tony Horton's infomercials just called out to my soul. He was like, basically, I'm going to murder you for 1 hour every day. And then on yoga day for 2 hours, for whatever reason that was. I'm like, that's what I want. I just want someone to yell and scream at me. That's where I get it from. That's my love. That's how I like to be challenged, right? But for the most part, we work out because we want an end result, not just because it's like the most fun thing in the world. Do you guys agree? So since we're all metered, we got to do jazz fingers. This is how you let me know. This is how you let me know I'm preaching good. Okay. That's okay. I grew up in a rowdy church where we get lots of feedback. So I need to know from you. Okay. So we start because we want to finish somewhere, right? And in network marketing, of course, like the end goal is to duplicate. Okay. We want to multiply ourselves into others. That's why we build a team. FYI, if you're not on here and you didn't know you were supposed to build a team, you're supposed to build a team. If you don't build a team, you're not really in network marketing, you're just in sales. And I'll tell you that you don't get paid enough commission to have a sales business, nor do any of you really like sales enough to have a sales business. Okay, so get to grow in a team, because that's what network marketing is all about. Okay, unless you want the stress and pressure that I have to live with every single day of selling as many things as I have to sell on a daily basis, network marketing is a really good place if you build a team. Okay, so the end goal is to multiply to have residual income, correct? The end goal is to, let's put it in some other terms, is to rank advance. The end goal is to get recognized on stage. The end goal is to get the jacket or, the tank top or whatever it is, okay? But here's the problem with humans. Let me tell you something that as humans, including myself, I'm a human too, okay? So I'm speaking to myself. Let me tell you something that we suck at. And that is embracing the process that it takes to get the results we really want. We really don't like the process. And this is one of the reasons I connect. Yes, the 15-star jacket. I want one of those. This is the reason I connect so well with Beachbody coaches, because we technically sell the same thing. I don't know if you realize this, but we both are in the business of selling transformation. I'm just going to tell you right now, selling transformation is hard. Most people do not want to pay for transformation. Like you're like, hey, you want to lose weight? And people are like, absolutely I do. And you're like, hey, want to eat healthy and work out? People are like, I absolutely do not. Right? Like, people want the results, but they don't really want to embrace the process. Now, if we had a magic pill for health, magic pill for business, all of us on this call would be millionaires without even trying. Wouldn't even have to do any work, right? We would just say, who wants it? And we could even charge 10 times the amount. Like, you could just add a 0 to all of your sales prices. Like, yep, the challenge group, it's on sale this month for $1,400. Can you believe that? They marked it down from $1,600 to $1,400. And people will be like, I'm in. As long as I don't have to do any work to get the results I want, I'm in. Now, here's what's crazy is a company full of health and fitness coaches that preach transformation for their fitness are all looking for a quick fix for their business. And I'm here to tell you, there ain't no quick fix for your business. And I should know because I've tried them all. And no matter what I've tried, no matter how many webinars I've allowed myself to get on and buy into, I'm like, oh man, that does sound good. I bet that works so good. I'm going to do that, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out every single time they pull back the curtain, what is on the other side is work. I'm like, man, I thought they said that I was going to, well, yeah, they did get featured on 100 radio shows because they messaged 20,000 people. So if you want to be on 100 radio shows, cool. You can do that too if you message 20,000 people. They didn't really say that like in the pitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like not everyone is super honest in the pitch about the work it takes to get the thing they're trying to sell you to get. And that's why I try really, 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 really hard to just be honest with people. Like, say, hey, this is going to be work. Like, this is going to be work. John Maxwell says the road to growth is always uphill. And that is my least favorite quote in the world, but it's true. I don't like that quote, guys. Like, I remember I was sitting at, certification, and John Maxwell is like, the road to growth is uphill. And I was like, man, that's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. I didn't want anybody to tell me that. Aren't we all looking for somebody to be like, yeah, you know what? You just add this filter and just, switch up to this hashtag and make sure you post it at this time. And you're golden. You're going to get like 700 likes and 40 comments and 20 new coach applications by the end of the day, as long as you just follow this formula. And it doesn't work like that. Okay? What it really works like is we got to build a house. Okay? And if you build a house, I'm currently in the middle of building a house. 30 more days. I can't wait till it's done. You have to start with this thing called the foundation. Now, currently, I need to go check in on it tomorrow. I'm one of those people that checks on my house every 2 days. I'm driving by to see what they're doing, okay? And there are fun parts, right? Like when they start framing it, it's like, oh my God, that's what it's actually going to look like, right? And then they're putting a roof on it. You're like, oh, I've got a roof. And then currently, last time I went, all of the drywall was up and they had sanded it and it's ready to be painted. I'm like, this looks like an actual house. Can I tell you something that no one gets excited about? Oh my God, it's a foundation. Can you believe it's concrete I can walk on? Nobody gets excited about that. But without it, you don't have a house. You can't have a house, especially if you live in Oklahoma like me. Tornado will blow it away every other week if you don't have a foundation. It's just gone. You got to build a lot of brick houses in Oklahoma because we're not allowed to have basements here. Our soil is too soft. We can't have basements in Tornado Alley. Why am I living here and how am I still alive? I don't know. 3 tornadoes within a half a mile of my house this tornado season in 4 weeks. 4 weeks. 3 tornadoes within a half mile of my house. I don't know how I'm still alive. Apparently, I was really supposed to get this book out because that's the only way I made it here. Okay? So we don't want the foundation. What I'm going to tell you again, I told Megan, they're going to love to hate me, hate to love me. Okay? You're not going to like this. Okay? But you don't get to fill the house full of West Elm furniture and your favorite paintings and your maybe IKEA, whatever, unless you've taken the time to build a foundation. Everybody on here is like, oh, I want to have a team. I want to have a girls squad. I want to have all these girls that are excited with me. And everyone's hitting six. Of course I know West Elm. All the furniture in my house is from West. I love West Elm. We all want this like girl gang. Okay. Yeah. The girl squad. Megan's got it. She knows what I'm talking about. She's like, I'm using that hashtag every day. But we don't get that without doing the unsexy things. Okay. Let me tell you some of the things that we all like to do. Everybody like, even you might complain about it sometimes, but everybody likes to post. Because when you post, it makes you feel like, yep, look at me, I'm doing the work. That's not the work. That's the easiest thing in the world. I have kids that post on social media. They don't expect to get paid for it. It's just, they just do it. This is what our society does. Posting on social media, right? That's not the work. The work is, are you expanding your network? Are you starting new conversations? Are you asking people to join your challenge group? Are you asking people to join your team? That's the work. And if you ain't doing that work, then let's just be real honest. You do not have a business. I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't do that work, you don't have a business. You are lying to yourself and you are lying to your family. And I don't care if you're an emerald. I don't care if you got a t-shirt or a tank top. You don't have a business, okay? You have a hobby. Now, in my book, I give an analogy. I talk about the football stadium. Has anybody read my book? Just flatter me. Somebody raise their hand and make me feel good. Okay, thanks. In my book, I talk about the football stadium analogy. And I say that when people join your team, they're not really joining your team. Like, we call it a team. But being on the team, anyone play sports growing up? I know Meg did. Okay, we got a couple people. Being on the team means you like show up and practice every single day. And while all the other kids are like going to hang out with their boyfriend or girlfriend, you're running sprints and throwing up on the sideline. Okay? You are people who sacrifice. Okay? That's what it's like to be on the team. And a lot of you got people joining you think are on the team, and maybe even you have convinced yourself that you're on the team. But I'm just going to tell you, if you are not throwing up on the sideline, you're not on the team. Okay? A lot of you are more like the fans in the stadium. And you like to wear the t-shirts. And you like to eat the nachos or the Beachbody bars. And you like to post on social media and tell everyone that you're at the game. But in reality, you didn't show up for practice. You're not really on the team. You're just hanging out in the stadium. And I talk about in my book the difference between being on the team and just being a drunk fan in the stands. There's a whole lot of people showing up to Summit that never make it to any of the trainings because they're hungover. Now, if it's happened, no judgment. Okay, it's happened at least once to everybody. No judgment if it just happened once. But I mean, some people, that's their only agenda. And they told their family they were investing money to build a better future. Now, here's the thing. If you just want to say it how it is and just say, you know what? I just like to spend money to be a part of this club and go get drunk. That's fine. Like, if that's all you say you do, then that's fine. But don't say that you're hustling. Don't say that you're sacrificing. Don't say, hey, sweetie, I just need an hour. I'm just working my business. I'm doing this. Don't say that if you ain't actually doing that. That's not cool. When I told my kids, hey guys, daddy's got to be in his office for a couple hours. I got a business. I got to work. But you know what? When I come out, I'm going to give you my undivided attention. We're going to hang out. We're going to play games. Oh, and by the way, you're going to get better allowances. We're going to go on trips. When I told them I was going to the office to work, I worked. And I only did the stuff that was going to put money in my pocket. Okay? So I got way ahead of myself. I'm supposed to give you the 4 M's because that's what we're talking about tonight. Okay? You ready for the 4 M's? How to build your house? Okay? From bottom to top is model, motivate, mentor, multiply. Model, motivate, mentor, Multiply. And multiply is the thing we all want. That's the end goal, right? Have a big, huge team, have your own team retreat, buy a big, huge mansion for everybody to come hang out at for the team retreat and swim in the pool and take pictures. You know, get one of those big pink unicorns in the pool and take a pic. That's what everyone wants to have. That's the fun part. That's the rewards, okay? But it all starts with modeling. And modeling is, next to the word model, I've got a couple statements I want you to write down. Do I show up the way I need other people to show up? And I don't know exactly who it was that said this. I think it might have been Danielle Natoni that maybe said this on a national wake-up call. She said, before you go to bed at night, ask yourself, if my coaches worked the way I worked today, would they be successful? That's modeling. Modeling is my least favorite part of business. Nobody likes to do that, but it's the thing we have to do because that's what means you have a business. And I'm going to talk. Do we have any diamonds on the call? Do we have any diamonds on the call? Show me some jazz fingers. We got some diamonds. I love you guys, and I need you to hear this. Okay, when you look at the 4 M's, okay, when we think of a leader, we think that they're the most motivational person and the best mentor in the world. And I'm going to tell you that's false. Being motivational doesn't make you a good leader, even though some people are motivational. Like, that's fine. I have a natural motivational gift. That's not leadership. That's just charisma. Okay? Leadership, charisma, 2 different things. Okay? A lot of Beachbody coaches, I don't have this natural talent, but a lot of Beachbody coaches have this natural talent of celebrity. And they're like crazy, beautiful, and it's like they were born to be like a fitness celebrity on Instagram. And good for them. I hate their guts. You probably do too. But that's not leader either. Now, it can help. And it's nice to have. I mean, if someone gave that to me, I wouldn't like want to turn it back in, right? But that's not leadership. When we think of leaders in our heads, we like to drop a picture of someone who is so motivational and so pretty and so wonderful and so amazing, biggest following in the world, and everyone wants to be just like them. That's not a leader, okay? And maybe it's charismatic and maybe it's celebrity, but it's not leader. I have asked person after person after person on calls that have said something to me like, Josh, I don't know if I have what it takes to be a leader, or I don't know if I'm so someone told me literally today in a message that I was talking back and forth with. She said, Josh, you know, I hit Success Club 20 every month. I've been doing this for like 5 years, but I don't really have anyone that wants to work the business. And I'm just really wondering if I'm even the kind of leader it takes to work a business like this. And I'm like, girl, you're saying the wrong word. Leader doesn't even fit there. It's not even the right word. All you're saying is, I've put a lot of work and energy into doing some of the things, and I just forgot to continue the progression to do the other things. That's all you're saying. And that's the reason I wrote a book called F Leadership, because we take this word and we turn it into things it doesn't really mean. And so I'll ask people on one-on-one calls all the time, what's your definition of leader? Can you guys do me a favor? Can you show me in the chat over here? Give me 1 or 2 words, descriptive words, some adjectives for my English teachers. I believe that's the proper word. Some adjectives of the word leader. Okay, like what if we're talking about a leader, what does this person have? Example, reliable, servant. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Selfless, consistent. Keep them coming. Some good stuff. Participant, reliable, focus, integrity filled. These are good words, guys. These are really, really good words. Strength. I love all of these words so much. Ethical. Consistent. Intentional. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Front line. Ooh, I like that. That's a good one. So tell me this. Intelligent. How many of you on this call would say that, Josh, up until right now, my definition of leadership in my head has been a certain charisma or look or natural talent or strength. But as I'm looking at these words, I'm realizing that's bullshit. This is your heart speaking. And that's why I love life coaching, because if I ask the right questions, I can get out of your head and into your heart. I want you to write this down. My limiting beliefs. I give it a little time. This is kind of a lengthy one. It's the only quote that I've ever come up with, so I have to use it on every call. I'm very proud of the one quote I've ever come up with. My limiting beliefs are constantly looking for a story. Are constantly looking for a story to justify my fears and excuses. My limiting beliefs, that's me, are constantly looking for a story to justify my fears and excuses. So here's what happens. My business isn't moving as fast as I wanted it to. And so I'm afraid. If you're building a business today and you're not afraid, you're not human. We're all afraid of something. That's human, right? And being an entrepreneur means there's something different every single day. There's always something to be afraid of, right? But because we're afraid, here's what we start doing. We start looking for an excuse to give us permission to sit still instead of moving forward. And so if we can convince ourselves, you know what? Everyone that's successful, they're just all tan and blonde and trendy and blah, 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 and using words I've never even heard of and hashtagging and blah, blah, and dancing to rap videos on their stories. And then here's what you'll do. You don't know what you'll do? Subconsciously, without even realizing it, you will go follow all of the prettiest, trendiest Beachbody coaches out there. You'll do it. And you'll be like, see, I knew I couldn't do it. I knew I couldn't do it. I don't look like her. I don't sound like her. I just don't even fit in. Like, I guess this probably isn't for me. And you talk yourself out of doing the work it would have taken to become the leader that could have got the results you really wanted. Does that make sense? Why? Why we do this? Because we all want results. We just don't want the process. Process hurts. It hurts, guys. I did a interview with Chris Downing yesterday for my podcast, which is live now. You guys have to go listen to this. It's so good. And I'm interviewing this guy, and I'm just like, I feel like this guy just took me to church. I got to make some changes. Like I got off the call and I was legit like, whew. I mean, I texted him this morning. I was like, bro, you literally, that one podcast changed my life. I woke up earlier than I usually do today. I started off my day with affirmations. I mean, like sometimes, and again, this is the trick that success tries to play on you, is it tries to convince you that you're good. And the reality of it is we're all 3 to 6 months away from the best version of ourselves or the worst version of ourselves, depending on where your focus is at. I've been both, and it can happen real quick, like quicker than you think everything is good. You wake up the next day and you're like, what the hell just happened? Well, for the last 3 to 6 months, you weren't being intentional like you knew to be, and just hit you out of nowhere. You just didn't see it coming, because it comes out of nowhere. Both success and failure can come out of nowhere. You don't see it coming. You plant a bunch of seed, and guess what? Randomly, out of nowhere, it pops up above the ground, and you're like, where's it been this whole time? Well, you've been watering it, and you've been giving it sunshine, and it's been growing underground. It just hasn't been visible yet. And that's what the law of process is. John Maxwell says leader is not made in a day, but one day at a time. In other words, whole bunch of stuff happening underground, and then just out of nowhere, boom. And you either get really excited about what you see, or you're really pissed off about what you see, and you realize you've been planting the wrong seed. But either way, man, this dude took me to church, and I was just like, man, this was so good. This was powerful. So please go watch that podcast. It's really good. But the point that I was trying to make, I think there was a point that I was trying to make, is that we're looking for an excuse because the process is scary. And here's the biggest trick we try to play on ourselves. If I can convince myself that it's not really my fault, then I can sit around and feel okay about not even trying. Nothing frustrates me more than to see humans who I believe were born into this world with such an incredible purpose. I really do believe that every human is here for a reason and that we're all somehow, some way connected. Is it God? Is it fate? Is it destiny? I don't really care what you call it. I just believe we're all connected to do something incredibly divine together. And that's what you were born to do. And if you don't embrace that, I'm just going to tell you right now, embracing it is hard. It's work. It's painful. Sure, you can see my eyes are a little bit red because it's like my 6th call of the day. Sometimes it's tiring, okay? Not every day, but some days it is. But not embracing your passion, that's way harder. Now, it may be really comfortable, okay? You might have a real nice spot on the couch with your favorite Netflix and your favorite friends, your best friends in the world, Ben and Jerry. It might be super, super comfy. But then you got to live what I believe is the worst hell that exists, which is waking up every day and knowing you ain't doing the thing you were put here to do. All you're doing is existing and taking up space. In my opinion, that's the hardest way to live life. Has anybody ever started a new workout program? Like right now, right? And even though it's scary, that's what makes it exciting. The scariest things, I mean, why do we ride roller coasters as kids? Are we idiots? Because the thrill is what makes life worth living, right? And so here's the thing, when it comes to leadership, everybody wants to be a good motivator. Everyone wants to be a good mentor, and everyone wants to multiply and have a big, huge team. But none of that can even exist without modeling the right way. And I tell people all the time, if you think you're a bad motivator, you're not. You're just a really sucky modeler. Because if you modeled properly, you would have so many people lining up to follow you. Motivating excited people isn't hard. I've never, ever, ever got a bunch of excited people together in a room and been like, man, this is really tough. I don't even know how to lead these people. When we think of leadership, we think of people who got some like magical power to like motivate dead people. Like that's not a leader. That's like miraculous. That's a prophet. Okay. That's not a leader. Being a leader means that if I model, I want you to think of it. So we have a staircase. Okay. If I model properly, it allows me to take the next step, which is motivate. Okay. I'm going to teach you a couple things about motivate and mentor, but as you guys can tell, I really, really, really want to beat this dead horse of modeling because it's the most significant part, and the rest, it does come a lot easier. Okay. When I model properly, it immediately, it elevates me into being a motivator. Okay. I don't need to like put on some show. I don't need to learn 1,000 different tricks and gimmicks on how to get people excited. I've got such a big, huge crowd and audience full of people. We just get excited together, and it's that easy. Okay. Now I'm going to teach you one trick about motivating that you need to know. One of the reasons you think you're a bad motivator is because you're trying to motivate unmotivated people. And to be honest, most of you aren't even really motivating. That's the wrong word altogether. You're either one, trying to drag someone, or 2, you're trying to manipulate someone. And I would argue that they're both kind of the same thing. Anytime you're trying to push someone against their will, in my opinion, that's manipulation. That's bad news. Now, here's where it gets tricky. I'm going to tell you, people are tricky, man. People are tricksters. People gonna tell you, yeah, I want to coach. Yeah, I want to work. Yeah, I want to hit Success Club. Yeah, I want to rank advance. That's where you're tricked. Because you're like, man, I'm a bad leader. This girl told me she wants to have success, and then I can't get her to do anything. I must be a bad leader. Wait, hold on a second. Can we rewind that for a second? She told me she wants to have success, but I can't get her to do any work. If homegirl won't do any work, does she really want success? Is it that you're a bad leader, or is it that she's a liar? You see what I'm saying? You're not a bad leader. She's a liar. She said she wanted to have success, but she's not willing to do any of the stuff that you tell her. That's not on you. How in the world is that on you? Now tell me this. I can say this because it's a Beachbody call. The analogies for Beachbody are so much easier for me. How many of you say, I have sold someone a challenge pack, and then homegirl got in the challenge group and never showed up? She paid $140 for Shakeology, whined and complained that it wasn't worth the money that she paid, and then never used it. Or worse, 30 days later, tries to tell you that this whole thing is a scam, it didn't work, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, how would you know? You didn't open the bag. Like, you don't even know. Has anyone ever dealt with that? Now, I'm going to prove to you how simple leadership is, okay? How many of you have had another girl signs up, she's like, I'm so scared. Happened today. I figured, Megan, it has to happen to somebody every day, right? How many of you have had another person, they're like, I'm so scared. I've never done anything like this before, but just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And maybe they had no fitness background whatsoever. They've literally never even read a diet book. Like maybe the only thing they'd ever heard of was Atkins or whatever. But they got in and they did anything and everything you asked them to do. They drank their Shakeology, they worked out, they followed their meal plan, and they lost weight. Raise your hands if that's happened. Now tell me this. How come you can help people lose weight and then not count all of the people who don't show up against you? Like has anyone ever been like, man, I guess Shakeology really does suck because people don't drink it? Has anyone ever thought like, no, it never even crosses your mind. But when it comes to coaching, helping coaches instead of challengers, we throw out this word that I am growing to hate called leadership. I must not be a good leader because I gave her all the stuff to do and she didn't do it. You just said you gave her the stuff to do. That's what a leader does. Does that make sense? And that's why I think people are so full of it when they throw around this word leader, because no one uses it in context. I've never had someone say, you know what, Josh? I just don't know if I'm a good leader because I have really bad ethics. I just am never on the front line. I'm not an example. I'm not intentional. I'm not consistent. Now, sometimes people will admit to me that they struggle with those things, but never with the word leader attached to it. They think it's something completely different. And what I'm trying to help you understand is the best leader in the world is not the person who motivates unmotivated people. It is not the person who drags people up the hill. It's not people that throw people into the water. It's people that are reliable, servant, selfless, consistent, participant, focused, integrity-filled, strength, ethical, consistent. All those are all really good words. And those do, in my opinion, define what a leader is. What other people do or don't do. Somebody needs to write this down. This is a good affirmation. What other people do or don't do does not define anything about who you are or what you do. I'm giving all of you guys some really good stuff tonight. Will you go use it? I don't know. That's up to you. But it doesn't have anything to do with my leadership. My leadership has to do with whether or not I wake up tomorrow and do the stuff I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons, and probably really the only reason, that motivational people have become motivational. Has anyone on this call ever heard of Micah Folsom? Has anyone ever heard of her? Show me a little jazz finger if you ever heard of Micah Folsom. She's a superstar, double superstar. She was top 10 in 2014. I think you and Meg the same year. Was that right? 14? That same year? Year after year. Okay. She's been in the top 15 every year since. Okay. Homegirl is inspirational. Like, you get on a call, I love to listen to her talk. Okay. She was one of my clients for like 2.5 years, and I don't care. I love to learn from everybody. Homegirl is one of the most introverted people on the planet. Like, she was actually on my podcast too. She's like, I go to my kids' football games and I know everyone there, but I go sit in the end zone. Like, I don't want to talk to people. She is not inspirational because she has charisma. She's inspirational because she's done enough work to learn enough lessons to share with others what she's done and learned in the process. Does that make sense? Go listen to Chris Downing's story on the podcast. And he does have some natural charisma, but you're going to hear all the shit that he went through to have a story to tell. And let's be real. Chris Downing doesn't actually embrace the process and read all of the books and go through the transformations. Nobody wants to hear the story, right? Nobody cares. Being inspirational means nothing if you haven't gone through something to have some lessons to share. And I would much rather, I say this in my book, I would much rather have the person who averages 35 points per game than have the person that gives a good pep talk before the game. Like, I want the person who scores 35 points. Oh, you don't talk at all? Like, you're actually silent? That's fine. Just score 35 points. You're my best friend. Oh, you can get everyone pepped up before the game, but then you like sitting over in the corner watching us all play? No, thank you. I'll take the guy who scores 35 points. So we model properly, and it allows us to learn enough lessons to then motivate others how to do the same. But we got to be very careful, and we must motivate. Please write next to this word. We must motivate with no strings attached. With no strings attached. Remember how I said, guys, I'm going to speak on this call and I think I'm going to say some really good stuff, but I don't know if any of you are going to do anything with it. You remember that? That's no strings attached. Okay. Does anybody know anything about the Enneagram? Anybody know anything about the Enneagram? Enneagram personality types? Okay. 2, Megan, I'm about to speak to you. I read the 2s and I was like, oh God, this is all Beachbody coaches. Here's the thing with 2s. And I love you guys. I'm a 3, so I have a 2 wing. Okay. I'm also a people pleaser. Okay. We give, 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 give. And then one day, 9 months down the road, after giving everything we have, we realize the other person hasn't given anything back, and we just go bitch mode. We're like, what is your problem? I've done this for you and this for you. It's like we pull out like a notebook that we've been keeping track of everything we've done for them. I messaged you this day. I checked in on you this day. I sent you a free sample. I did this. And then exactly. Jamie's got it out of nowhere. Okay. Now let me just tell you, that's not maturity. Okay. Here's what maturity looks like. You had me at the samples. I got a whole bunch of girls in my team page that say they want this, that want to go somewhere better. And you know what? I love them to death, but I don't really trust them because they're people and people lie sometimes, but I'm here for them anyways. Now, here's what I'm not going to do. Here's what I'm not going to do. Let me be very clear to my twos. I am not going to answer their text messages at 10 o'clock at night when they just want to know how to Google something. Okay? I am not going to give them free therapy. I am not going to pretend to want to talk to them when in reality, I don't. Okay? I'm not going to pretend to be everyone's best friend when in reality, I'm an introvert not really looking for best friends. What I'm going to do, this is very simple. I'm going to make it very simple for you. I'm going to show up for my team the same way I show up for social media. Has anyone ever went through all of your followers to find out which one of those bitches didn't like your post today? Oh, girl. I now see that 7 consecutive days you didn't double tap on my picture. It is on. We don't do that on social media, do we? And this is why I teach the football analogy, okay? Because of the fact that the second they joined your team, you bought into them too much. When someone joined your team, you put your entire life and all of your hopes and all of your dreams in their hands. That is not leadership. You know what I'm saying? You got to stop giving up your power to other people. Okay? You got to say, hey, I'm here on the team page and I'm going to cheer you on. And I'm going to speak so much love and life into you. But I'm also smart enough to know that 80% of you ain't even going to be here next week. But because I really need you to get this. But because I love and believe in everyone, I'm going to be here anyways. No strings attached. None. Absolutely zero. Every single person on this call want to go buy my book? Awesome. That's cool. None of you want to buy my book? That's okay too. I woke up today to do my mission. Okay? Not to put a guilt trip on you to do your mission. Now, I'm here to inspire you to live out your mission, but I can't for a second get the strings crossed and think that your mission is like somehow like my responsibility, or like if you fail, I fail. Guys, that's, again, this is why I say if you think you're a bad motivator, you're really just a sucky modeler. And again, I'm going to use the challenge group I'm going to help you understand why this happens. One of the reasons you don't get as offended about challengers not sticking with it as you do coaches is because most people bring on double, if not triple, the amount of challengers as they do coaches. So for instance, you have a total of, let's say you have a total of 20 customers under you, okay? That tells me statistically you probably have 2, maybe 3 coaches under you. Now, when you have 20 customers under you, you probably have 5 or 6 of them that are active in the challenge group doing their thing. So it feels like you are getting paid for your time. When you only have 2 or 3 coaches, I'm going to tell you right now, none of them are showing up and none of them are doing anything. And that makes you bitter because you feel like the time and the work and energy you put in isn't getting anything in return. And the reality of it, guys, is that if you had 20 coaches the same way you have 20 challengers, you'd have 4 or 5 people showing up and doing their thing. I mean, let's be real. How big is this downline? It's pretty big. And we've got 24 people on here tonight. That's a numbers game. And I'm just going to tell you right now, that numbers game is global. Okay? You look at Meg and you're like, well, she's got thousands of people in her downline. It's easy for her to be excited. It's easy for her to be motivated. Not when only 24 people out of those thousands show up. I would say, I say sometimes that, the most successful people are dealing with the same terrible stats that you're dealing with, but it's actually a lie. They have worse stats. Because the higher up you climb, the longer you've been around and the more time you have for more people to fall off. And not only that, but I'll tell you this too. The longer you stick around, the more people get pissed off at you along the way and turn into haters. And that's really hard too. When you give your life to loving and serving people, and you got people in chat threads talking behind your back, making up stuff about you, or just taking things terribly out of context, that sucks. But that's the price of being a leader. The price of being a leader, guys, is there's no strings attached. I love and believe in humans enough to show up knowing that 80 to 90% of people will never do anything with the words I say or write. But I owe it to everyone to bring it, and I owe it to myself to bring it, because 10 to 20% of people are going to grab onto it. They are going to take action, and their life is going to be changed forever. And I'm going to celebrate that. Now, again, bringing it back to the modeling. If I know, and this is why I like to talk about numbers, I think it's good for people to just know up front. This is how it works for everybody, okay? You're not the only one losing people. We're all losing people. Welcome to life, okay? But if I know that, if I knew up front that only 10 to 20% of people are actually going to stick around and do what it takes and actually change their life, I think I'd be intentional about finding a whole lot more people to try to help. You know what I'm saying? And some of you are using it as your excuse to sit still. I'm just going to tell you what I told a one-on-one client a couple of weeks ago. A little rough, but I said, girl, she was going through some personal stuff. And I've been there. I've been through some personal stuff. I said, girl, by you sitting around and whining and complaining about it, you're just adding to the tragedy. Like, you could have changed something. You could have made a difference. You could have done something positive. And instead, you're sitting around whining and just adding to the tragedy. Leaders up in the trenches, fighting, working, believing, acting, doing something. Not always looking pretty. Not always sounding pretty. Not always having the best graphics. Not even caring if they've got the best Instagram. Just showing up and doing the kind of work it takes to move forward. You guys see what I'm saying? And then mentorship. Mentorship happens when you've motivated enough people that you got some people that are actually showing up. Mentorship is what all of you really crave, because that's where the biggest difference is made. Okay? I get the closest relationships and the most fulfillment from working with people one-on-one. I really, really, really do. There's just something powerful about actually knowing someone's name, actually getting to know them personally. You see them, at Summit or whatever, and you give each other a big hug and you take pictures together, and you're friends. And that's what everyone, I believe, really craves when it comes to this business. And I think that's why you give way too much to the wrong people. And I need you to understand that kind of relationship has to be earned. Okay? In order for two people to have a mentorship, you gotta have someone that's actually willing to take you at your word and trust you and go down the path that you're trying to lead them down. And very few people are willing to do that. So I want to just give you a warning to stop trying to mentor everybody. And it would remove so much pressure from your life. It would remove so much unnecessary time and energy that you have been flushing down the toilet because you've been trying to be besties with people who don't even really want to go down the path. They just want to hang out in the stands and cheer for the game. And that is so okay. Can I just say that some people never want to work this business, and that's okay. Can you just let people be who they want to be? And if they want to be drunk in the stands wearing their Beachbody t-shirt, cool, that's fine. Don't try to make people come out on the field. You will exhaust yourself, and you will get to the point where you don't even want to help people anymore. You'll be so sick and tired of trying to drag people, that will burn you out. So I want you to model the right behaviors, okay? I want you to motivate with no strings attached. And then when someone is actually willing to put in the kind of work that it takes, actually willing to show up for work every day, actually willing to do invites, actually willing to be a part of the team because of throwing up on the sideline, now I want to grab onto you, and now you're going to be my best friend in the world, and we're going to walk through anything you need my help with. Even then, it's still your life, and you have the freedom to change your mind at any point and say you don't want to do this anymore. Okay? And that, guys, is how you multiply. It's a lot more work than you thought, because you got to model enough to have somebody to motivate. You got to motivate with no strings attached until you find someone to mentor. And then when you find the person to mentor that's actually willing to go down the path that you're willing to go down, multiplication is the easiest thing in the world, because you got someone doing the work that you're doing, and all you got to do is teach them what you do. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to know how to do every single thing. All you got to do is tell them what you do. Tell them what's worked for you. That's it. How many of you can say, Josh, from my challenge groups, I have multiplied myself into other people who now wake up every day and drink their Shakeology and do their workout and think about their meal plan and even take a sweaty selfie when they're done? How many people can say you've done that? Okay, so you already know how to multiply. You've already gone through the whole process in your challenge groups, and now you just got to remember to apply the same lessons in your team. All right? I hope that helped you guys. I hope it was great. I passed this on to Meg earlier, but my book is technically free right now on Amazon. My publisher has decided to throw it out there for free for 1 week before next week it goes up to full price, and they'll be working on actual physical copies of the book so that you can sign one and highlight it and do all that fun stuff with it. But thank you, Meg, for having me so much. I appreciate it so much. I'll hand it back to you. I do thank you all for hanging out with me so late on a Wednesday night. I appreciate it so much.
Josh, you just took us to church. I know you said that Chris Downing took you, but holy crap, like I haven't seen this thread blow up like this in a while, with all the comments, everyone just saying, like, you're saying exactly what they need to hear, because, so many times we sugarcoat things when truly the way to move yourself forward in this business, you guys, or in life in general, is to become like just face to face with what you need to actually hear, those truth bombs. Yes, exactly, Janessa, truth bombs. So Josh, thank you so much. Guys, I will be putting up the link to get Josh's book for free in our team group again. I posted it last week, but I'll do it again so that you guys are able to grab that. And I mean, off of what he just shared tonight, I'm pretty sure all 22 of them are going to go on and purchase it. Josh, anything else that you want to say? Are you good?
That's it. I mean, you can come find me on Instagram, _push coach. I do have a 5-day leadership challenge going down next week. It's $38. You can go to my website, which is joshcoates.com. I'm doing a 5-day leadership challenge, $38, and we're basically going to walk through the principles of the book. But I'm also going to be teaching I'm currently running a Push Elite group. So a bunch of 1-star and 2-star girls that are pushing for Elite. And anytime I'm doing that at the end of the year, new ideas come, new systems come up, and I'll be teaching some of that stuff in the group, how to get your coaches started right, like out of the gate, by presenting 2 options. one, you want to hang out in the stands and be a drunk fan, or two, you're ready to rock and roll this thing the way I do. I'll be teaching some specific strategy stuff that didn't make it into the book because I'm always learning, and there's new stuff coming out all the time. So if you want to do that, Megan, I can shoot you the link for that if you want to post it for me.
For sure. I'm not used to being called Megan. I keep forgetting that my thing says Megan. I'm like, man, you sound like Kirk. He's always calling me Megan. Okay, guys. So, Josh, thank you so much. Yeah, send me that information, guys. That's a killer deal to get into something like that for $38. Go check that out. Have a wonderful night, you guys. I'm going to post the link, like I said, in the team group once I get situated with the babies. I'll chat with you guys all in the team group and see you all next week. Hi, guys. Thank you so much.